Alrighty. What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Betting the Booth Podcast. Getting everything set up and we'll be ready to go. Hope everyone's day's going well, week's going well, weekend going well. Happy late 4th of July, by the way, because that was last Friday. Okay. Just gonna get something fixed and set up on my end. Okay. Alrighty. What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of Betting the Booth Podcast. Thank you all so much for the support to this point. I very much do appreciate it. Let's dive into today's stuff. Episode 177. Thank you all so much for the support. Not really much to talk about besides just the episode, really. So let's get into it. So today's Immaculate Grid. Yankees, Cardinals, 100 plus RBI season. Brewers, Rockies, and 100 plus run season. Okay. Let's see. Where do I want to start here? How do I want to start here? Chris Carter fits Brewers, Yankees. %, I will take that. Brewers, Cardinals, Ted Simmons fits that. 14%. Okay. Brewers, 100 plus RBI season. Imagine Richie probably does. Yes, 3%. Rockies, Yankees. There's Canley. There's LeMahieu. Fit. Sheffield, no. 9%. Oh, a lot higher than I thought that would be. Rockies, Cardinals, Larry Walker fits there. Arenado fits there. I don't know if Montero ever played a game for the Cardinals. Ooh. He did not. But I got a different idea for someone else that was in the Arenado trade. 4%, I will take that. Rockies 100 plus RBI season. 100 plus RBIs with the Rockies. Cargo. Yep. Yankees 100 plus run season. 100 plus run season for the Yankees. Ooh. Um, 100 plus run season Yankees. Who would have done 100 plus runs in a season for the Yankees? Or who I want to go with for 100 plus run season for the Yankees is a better question. Imagine he did it. No? Yeah, 6%. Cardinals 100 plus run season. He probably did. Or not. Like, probably use him here anyway. So, not for 100 plus run with Cardinals, probably if it's. And he does. At 0.5%. So, total rating score is 145. I did not have any of the top answers, oddly enough. Top answers for today: Yankees, Brewers, 34% CC Sabathia. Brewers, Cardinals, 29% is Golden Wong. Brewers, 100 plus RBI season batting at 22% is Ryan Braun. Rockies, Yankees, 34% is DJ LeMahieu. Rockies, Cardinals, 35% is Nolan Arenado. Rockies, 100 plus RBI season batting at 24% is Todd Helton. 100 plus run season with the Yankees at 25% is Derek Jeter. 100 plus run season with the Angels at Cardinals, not Angels, and 27% is Albert Pujols. And 100 plus run season, 100 plus RBI season, and 12% is Barry Bonds. So let's switch to daily walk-off. Categories are played mainly starting pitcher for the Padres, played mainly first base for the Padres, played for the Cubs, and played for the White Sox. Player options: Greg Max, Eric Hosmer, Alexei Ramirez, Will Myers, Adrian Gonzalez, John Jay, Tadahito Iguchi, Nick Margevicius, Paul Clemens, James Shields, Kevin Correa, Rondell White. So Hosmer, Maddox were Cubs. Alexei and Iguchi were White Sox. Honestly, I think this is probably almost correct, except this actually might be fully correct here. And indeed it is. So full correct answers. Mainly played starting pitcher for the Padres, Nick Margevicius, Paul Clemens, Kevin Correa. Mainly played first base for the Padres, Will Myers, Adrian Gonzalez, Eric Hosmer. Played for the Cubs through 2023, Rondell White, John Jay, Greg Maddux. Played for the White Sox through 2023, James Shields, Alexei Ramirez, and Tadahito Iguchi. And same categories for the Mariners with different players: Miguel Olivo, John Mabry, Adam Kennedy, Milton Bradley, Glenn Allen Hill, Richie Sexton, Nate Carnes, Justin Smoke, Freddie Garcia, Felix Hernandez, Jason Vargas, Carl Everett. Everett, Freddie, and not sure who the third White Sox going to be. But Bradley, Glenn Allen Hill, I know were Cubs. I'm stuck on who that third Cub. Let's submit this and see where this gets me. Okay, so at least the ones I was certain about were definitely correct. Okay, Adam Kennedy's going to definitely be first base. Flip him with Carnes. Olivo, let's flip it this way, and then see. And it ends up being fully correct, so walk-off homer for both. But I made it out for the Mariners, and that was the difference. So the full correct answers for the Mariners: mainly played starting pitcher for Seattle, Felix Hernandez, Jason Vargas, Nate Carnes. Mainly played first base for Seattle, Adam Kennedy, Justin Smoke, Richie Sexton. Played for the Cubs through 2023, Milton Bradley, Glenn Allen Hill, and John Mabry. And played for the White Sox through 2023, Miguel Olivo, Freddie Garcia, and Carl Everett. So that's it for Daily Walk-Off. Now, before we dive in the notes, the All-Star lineup, bits of the Home Run Derby roster, and the Futures game roster have been revealed. So we're going to go through that. We're going to start with the Futures game since that's the first up. These are all prospects, but in case you're wondering if your team has any key prospects, well, every team has a prospect in the game. I think that's pretty much a thing that they do every year. And per team, it just depends on what team you are. Angels, George Klassen's in. For the Astros, they have Bryce Matthews and Alomar Santa. A's have Gage Jump and Tommy White. Blue Jays have Trey Savage. Braves have J.R. Ritchie and Hayden Harris. Brewers have Jesus Maid. Cardinals have J.J. Weatherholt. Cubs have Owen Casey. Diamondbacks have Slade Caldwell and Lou James Groover. Dodgers have Jose DePaula and Zaire Hope. Giants have Carson Weisenhunt and Trent Harris. Guardians have C.J. Kayfus and Parker Messick. The Mariners have Lazaro Montes, Harry Ford, and Durangelo Sigin who the last guy is the switch-handed pitcher, for those wondering. For the Marlins, Thomas White, Joe Mack. Mets, Jonah Tong and Carson Bange. Nationals, Alex Clemmy and Marquise Grissom Jr. Orioles, Enrique Bradfield Jr. and Keegan Giles. Padres, Leo de Vries. Phillies, Eduardo Tate. Pirates, Connor Griffin and as Marilyn Valdez. Rangers, Sebastian Wolcott. Rays, Brody Hopkins. Red Sox, John Stinson Garcia. Red, Stal Stewart and Alfredo Duno. Rockies, Charlie Condon and Wellington Herrera. Tigers, Kevin McGonigal, Max Clark, and Josu Brisino. Twins have just Kalen Culpepper. The White Sox have Nolan Schultz and Braden Montgomery, and the Yankees have George Lombard Jr. As for the Futures game and the Home Run Derby, which I don't think all of them have been announced yet. Let's see, how many have been announced? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so I think like 5, so there's still a few more slots. But Ronald Acuña's been announced. Cal Raleigh's been announced. James Wood's been announced. Byron Buxton's been announced. And O'Neill Cruz has been announced. And keep in mind, this All-Star game is in Atlanta this year. So Acuña has the Home Run Derby home field advantage this year. And the All-Star game rosters, there were a lot of snubs. You can mention it all in the comments. There's countless amount of snubs. But the starters-wise, Cal Raleigh, Vlad Jr., Gleyber Torres, Jose Ramirez, Jacob Wilson, Aaron Judge, Riley Green, Javier Baez, and Ryan O'Hearn. Reserves, Alejandro Kirk, Jonathan Miranda, Alex Bregman, Jazz Chisholm Jr., Brandon Lau, Jeremy Pena, Byron Buxton, Bobby Wood Jr., Stephen Kwan, J. Leo Rodriguez, and Brent Rooker. Starting pitchers, Hunter Brown, Chris Bubik, Garrett Crochet, Jacob deGrom, Max Fried, Yusei Kikuchi, Tariq Skubal, Shane Smith, and Brian Wu. And then for the relievers, Aroldis Chapman, Josh Hader, and Andres Munoz. And then the National League, Will Smith, Freddie Freeman, Ketel Marte, Manny Machado, Francisco Lindor, Ronald Acuña Jr., PCA, Kyle Tucker, and Shohei Ohtani for the starters. Reserves, Hunter Goodman, Pete Alonso, Ellie De La Cruz, Brandon Donovan, Matt Olson, Eugenio Suarez, Corbin Carroll, Kyle Stowers, Fernando Tatis Jr., James Wood, and Kyle Schwarber. The starters, Matthew Boyd, Mackenzie Gore, Clayton Kershaw, who's the legend pick, Freddie Peralta, Robbie Ray, Chris Sale, Paul Skeens, Logan Webb, Zach Wheeler, and Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And then relievers, Jason Adam, Edwin Diaz, and Randy Reyes. So as the All-Star Game roster that's been announced, any changes could happen between now and then due to injuries or a starter having started like too close to the All-Star game. But for now, that is the roster. I won't be live before the All-Star game. Actually, I'll be live the day of the All-Star game, probably around when it starts. Unreally now I think about it, because that's literally Tuesday. I don't know, maybe I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But that is the All-Star game. Stuff. And that starts this weekend going into the week. And games resume again on Friday. All right. Anyways, let's dive into the notes part of this week's episode. So from July 1st, Marlins beat the Twins 2-0. Marks an 8-game win streak, which is the longest win streak for the Marlins since 9 straight in 2008. Dodgers beat the White Sox 6-1. Shohei Ohtani solo home run in the fourth is his 30th this season, making his fourth most in a season where he pitched multiple starts behind 2021's 46, 2023 44, and 2022 34. General note from this day: Ohtani's home run in the fourth makes him the third player to hit 30 home runs this season, with Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh making this season the fifth season with three or more 30-plus homers before All-Star break, joining 2019 Pete Alonso, Cody Bellinger, and Christian Yelich. In 1998, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, Ken Griffey Jr., and Greg Vaughn. 1994, Ken Griffey Jr., Frank Thomas, Matt Williams, and Reggie Jack. And 1969, Reggie Jackson, Willie McCovey, and Frank Howard. That's it for July 1st. For July 2nd, Pirates shut out the Cardinals 5-0, which I actually know someone who was at that game. With this win, also the 1-0 win they had on July 1st, and the 7-0 win they had on June 30th over the Cardinals. Pirates become the 35th instance of a team shutting out its opponent for an entire 3+ game series since 1901, third by the Pirates, 1903 and 1976 being the last two before Padres of the Rockies April this year, and Guardians over the Royals August of 2017, and add another series, Mariners and the Pirates, from that happened over the weekend. Dodgers beat the White Sox 5-4. Clayton Kershaw striking out, looking and Vinny Capra in the sixth is his 3,000th career strikeout, joining Walter Johnson and Gibson as the only pitchers with 3,000 plus strikeouts for one team. Also, the fourth left-handed pitchers to do so, joining Randy Johnson and Steve Carlton and CC Sabathia. Also was done with the opposing manager, Will Venable, being someone he struck out 3 times in his career, making him the fourth pitcher to do so, joining Bob Gibson on July 17, 1974 against Sparky Anderson, Phil Negro on July 4th, 1984 against Doug Rader, and Justin Verlander September 28th, 2019 against Brad Ausmus. Brewers beat the Mets 7-2 in Game 1 of a doubleheader. Juan Soto steal of second base in the fourth makes it he now has 10 stolen bases this season, which passes 2021's 9 from third most in the season for him, now behind 2023 and 2019's 12. That's it for July 2nd. For July 3rd, the Blue Jays beat the Yankees 8-5. Chad Green's intentional walk of Judge in the 8th is his 23rd intentional walk this season, which is tied for most intentional walks in the season in Yankees history, behind since 1995, tied with 19 or doesn't make sense since 1995. Since some season, tied with 1957 Mickey Mantle. First time Toronto's in first place in the AL East since September 5th of 2016 with that win, and they still are in first place going into tonight's games. And that is it for July 3rd. For July 4th, there was a lot of fun. It was a firework-filled day. Cubs hammered the Cardinals 11-3. Suzuki solo home run, PCA solo home run in the first. Michael Busch solo home run. Carson Kelly solo home run in the second. PCA solo home run. Michael Busch 2-run homer in the third. Dansby Swanson 2-run homer and Michael Busch solo home run in the seventh. Marks 8-homer game for the Cubs, which is the most in a game in Cubs history. The 6 homers in the first 3 innings of the game is the most in Cubs history. With Michael Busch and PCA, this is the first time 2 Cubs players each had 2 homers in the first 3 innings of a game. Cubs are 5th team to record on record with 3 separate homer streaks of back-to-back in the same game, joining August 22nd, 2016 Dodgers, April 14th, 2014 Pirates, June 17th, 1977 Red Sox, and August 18th, 1958 Reds. Michael Busch's 3-homer game makes him the third Cubs player to have a 3-homer game against Cardinals, joining July 4th, 2003 Moises Alou and July 4th, 1939 Hank Lieber, all on 4th of July. Mets beat the Yankees 6-5. Juan Soto's 2-run homer. The first is his 21st this season, which is tied for his 64th career which is also 64th, tied for most in team's first 89 games of the season, tied with last season. Also, his 64th opposite field homer in his career, which is second most MLB since the start of 2018, behind former teammate Aaron Judge's 90. Mariners beat the Pirates 6-0. Cal Raleigh's 2-homer game marks the 7th multi-homer game this season before the All-Star break, which is tied for second most behind 96 Reggie Jackson and tied with 2009 Albert Pujols, and 2001 Luis Gonzalez. Is also tied for second most in the Mariners' history in a season behind 1997 Ken Griffey Jr.'s 8, and tied with 1996-1998 Ken Griffey Jr., and ahead of 1999 A-Rod. His 35 homers is tied for third most before the All-Star break behind 2001 Barry Bonds 39, 2013 Chris Davis, 1998 Mark McGwire, and 1969 Reggie Jackson 37, and tied with 2001 Luis Gonzalez and 1998 Ken Griffey Jr. Also, his 7 multi-homer games in the first 88 games of the season is tied for second most behind 1969 Reggie Jackson, and tied with 2009 Albert Pujols, 2001 Luis Gonzalez, 1934 Jimmy Fox, and 1928 Babe Ruth. Astros beat the Dodgers 18-1. Christian Walker's 3-run homer in the third makes him the first player to homer in 6 straight games at Dodger Stadium. It's tied for the longest streak all time at the Dodgers/Brooklyn Dodgers. LA/Brooklyn days, tied with 1953-54 Monty Irvin. Is also tied for 4th most homers in the first 43 games at a venue behind Mark McGwire, Busch Stadium's 24, Willie Mays, Ebbets Field 23, and A-Rod's Rogers Center's 21, and tied with Lance Berkman, Great American Ballpark, Sammy Sosa, Coors Field, Mickey Mantle Tiger Stadium, Harmon Killebrew Metropolitan Stadium, and Joe DiMaggio Sportsman Park. One thing I want to look, because I don't think it got extended beyond Friday, but I do want to check because I never really looked. Let's see. Christian Walker's streak is what I'm referring to. Nope, it ended after Friday, so it ended at 6. Anyways, also tied for the longest homer streak by a player on the road against a specific team. Also marks over 8 home runs in a 6-game span at a road venue, making him 8th player to do so, joining 2016 Mookie Betts, Camden Yards, 2011-12 Joey Jose Bautista Target Field, 2001-2003 Sean Green Miller Park / American Family Field, and 1998-99 Carlos Delgado Americas Field in Arlington / Choctaw Stadium nowadays, and 1994-1997 Ken Griffey Jr. at the Sky Dome, and 1975-1976 Mike Schmidt at Wrigley Field, and 1936-1937 Joe DiMaggio at Sportsman Park. Also, general note, the 48 homers on 4th of July is the second most on a single 4th of July behind 2000's 52. Not far behind. That's it for July 4th. For July 5th, Blue Jays beat the Angels 4-3. George Springer's 0 homer on the third marks the 15-20 season before they also break 35 years old or older, making him the 3rd player to do so, joining Alfonso Soriano, Gary Sheffield, 2013 Alfonso Soriano, 2007 Gary Sheffield, and 2006-5 Reggie Sanders. That's it for June 5th. For June 6th, Phillies beat the Reds 3-1. Zach Wheeler's 12 strikeouts, 0 walks, and 1 hit makes him the first Phillies pitcher with 12 strikeouts, 0 walks, and 1 run, 1 or 0 hits allowed in a game in at least the last 125 seasons, and it being at 35 years and 37 days old makes it the only pitcher to do so in an older age. Only pitchers to do so in an older age. Randy Johnson and R.A. Dickey. Tigers beat the Guardians 7-2. Terry Skubal 7 strikeouts, 7 innings, 0 runs, 0 walks, 10 strikeouts, makes his third scoreless start with 10-plus strikeouts, 0 walks in a season, which is tied for second most since 1901 behind 2021 Corbin Burns, 2015 Kershaw, and 2000 Pedro Martinez's 4, and tied with 2021 Garrett Cole, 2004 Randy Johnson, 2001 Mike Mussina, and 1968 Bob Gibson, and 1965 Sandy Koufax. Mariners beat the Pirates 1-0, marks 6 straight games. Pirates played in a game that involved getting shut out or being shut out. That's the tied for the longest such streak in MLB history with 1953 Senators/Twins, 1949 White Sox, 1919 Cubs, 1903 Pirates, and the next day in a 9-3 loss to the Royals. Mariners didn't give up a run the entire series. There have now been 36 times of a team shutting out its opponents for an entire series of 3+ games since 1901, first by Seattle, 3 this season. 2015 for the most. Pirates the first team to play back-to-back such series.